Inches of War. Man, I'm gonna move on for this one because this one getting me kind of emotional. It's just ruin these kids' lives. And everybody just cares about profit. They're just making money and they don't care about
Looks like we got us another hit.
whose life they destroy. This.
What vitamins could we get from mushrooms that we can't get from plants? Vitamin D.
Vitamin D, you're right.
So
You
we
get that from plants?
no.
Yeah, it's a non-animal source of vitamin D.
Yes.
Especially if you're growing them outside.
Yes. The sun. Where we get vitamin D. And outside of that, you're not going to find it in any vegetation or fruits, but you'll get them in mushrooms.
Yep.
In the wintertime, when you're not getting enough sun, then you should eat more mushrooms because you're going to get your vitamin D that way. You dig?
Yep. You dry it, tie it up under the sun. That's how they absorb the most vitamin D. They did like studies about that.
It's like a solar power panel.
The panel.
That's crazy. Fun
These
facts.
guys, on the outside, it has this like kind of crust or bark, and this is actually a melanin reaction. So, yeah, so these are like, these are the dark skin mushrooms. That's cool because it makes this protective barrier, right, that allows us to strip the plastic off completely, and it'll pin from all sides. And we want to be like, make a cut, kind of like nurture it into coming out. We just strip the plastic and it just pops from all sides.
Mushrooms are mad interesting to me in a lot of ways. And the history of mushrooms go way back. And they were some of the first, when you talk about like the evolution of the planet, the mushrooms were really early. And mushrooms also have this thing going on that happens underground that helps with all of the other plants that grow. So super interesting. And mushrooms is a good thing for you to eat. Let me read this. It says, did you know mushrooms are like eating the sun? Maybe you need some shrooms. Brian here has been our partner in farming for over a decade and the most knowledge mycologist I know. He will be helping me educate y'all on mushrooms in our Grow Your Own Club. Yeah. Yep. I like to follow this guy, Freehaven Farms. He's always got good stuff on his channel. We need to learn more about growing foods and what actually makes us healthy, so forth and so on. Learn about mushrooms. The more you learn about them, it's super interesting. Like they're the ones who help break down the organic material so that it can be used for the plants. It's all works together in like an ecosystem. I think I got another thing on mushrooms right quick. Let's see if I can find it. I don't see it. I must have not shared it. Oh, here it is. Oyster mushrooms. It says oyster mushroom fungus uses nerve gas to paralyze and eat tiny worms. This is New Science posted this. They said oyster mushrooms are delicious, but they have a little known dark side. The fungus that produces them paralyzes and kills nematode worms using a nerve gas before sucking out their insides. Oyster mushrooms are the reproductive structures or fruiting bodies of the fungus Pleurotus austratus. We have known since the 1980s that the fungus preys on nematodes, which are microscopic roundworms, but how it does this has been a mystery. Yingping Hu at Academia Sinica, a research institute in Taiwan, and her colleagues previously discovered that. Hold on. Pressing the wrong button. Research Institute in Taiwan, and her colleagues previously discovered that P. austratus contains tiny lollipop-shaped structures that break open when nematodes press their heads against them. They have now found that once ruptured, these structures release a gas that is highly toxic to nematodes' nervous system. Interesting stuff. Oh, comment it says, so The Last of Us begins. I don't play that game, The Last of Us, but my roommate does, and it looks really interesting. I watch him play it sometimes because it seems cool as hell. And now they got an HBO series on that, The Last of Us. I ain't gonna lie, I don't really watch TV, but if I have time, I'm gonna try to check that out. I'm reading another comment that says, so this would mean oyster mushrooms are not vegan friendly. That's kind of interesting, right? So if the mushroom consumes a type of meat or an animal, then does that make the mushroom vegan? I mean, no, does that make it no longer vegan? That's an interesting point. I think that though, when you're dogmatic with the vegan thing, I don't think it's very healthy. I understand how people are about animal cruelty, and I agree with that. Like, there's certain foods that I won't eat, like veal. At the restaurant that I work in, they have veal, and I'm not going to eat veal just because of the way that they do it and the process that it goes through. You know, and how could veal be halal? I just don't see how you can make veal halal with the process that it goes through to make it. So I'm not going to eat that. So, and I care about animals to a certain extent as far as that's concerned, like the way they live their life, because you're consuming them and they become a part of you. So what they went through in their life, the trauma that they went through, you're consuming that trauma when you eat it. So, but being dogmatic about veganism, I don't think is a good thing. And most of the people I see that are really, truly, truly, truly vegan aren't very healthy. They're pale and they're skinny, get sick all the time. Let me read another comment that says, this is very pertinent if you watched The Last of Us. I'm going to have to watch it now. It's making me more interested. Let me read another one. It says, been reading a lot of fungi-related articles lately because of The Last of Us. Oh, is that why this is popping up? So what is the connection? Because I don't know. Like I say, I never played the game. So is it the fungus that caused the end of the world? I love apocalyptic stuff. End of the world stuff is always really interesting to me. So that's why I want to check it out. So I don't know. You guys help me out. So was something having to do with the fungus causes the end of the world? Shit. If it was anything that would take us out, I wouldn't be surprised, because the fungus, like, they have a life of their own. They are alive, you know, and I believe they are intelligent also. And they also super resilient. All the other plants can go, and the mushrooms will still be here. They don't rely on the overall ecosystem the same way as the other types of plants, because you can't even call them plants because they're so different.